What if Dragon Ball Z had Pokémon? That's right, it's an absolutely crazy idea, but what would happen if you combine two of the biggest anime series of all time, Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z? Well, we don't have to wonder because my friend ThePanio made a bunch of Pokemon designs based on the most iconic characters from the DBZ universe. We're about to go over all of them, it's gonna be super fun, but before we do, quick reminder, if you end up liking today's video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos like it. But without further ado, let's instantly transfer into it. Okay, first off, we have a Pokemon named Moku, and you'll never guess who it's based off of. Of course, it's based off Goku, the most iconic character from Dragon Ball Z, and more specifically, I believe it's based off Kid Goku because it still has its tail. But besides that, it's pure fighting type, and it's just a little monkey like Goku was. Its middle stage Karope is now a bit taller, and more resembles the adolescent Kakarot that we see towards the end of Dragon Ball, the first series. Now, the final stage of this Pokemon is absolutely sick. Its name is Seiku. Of course, it's based off Super Saiyan Goku, and I cannot get over this design. I absolutely love it. Something about the color palette, like this blue with the yellow, just looks absolutely amazing. It's so sick. I will say, though, I'm surprised it's still pure fighting type. I feel like they could have easily thrown in another type, like Psychic or Electric or something like that. Now, just like Dragon Ball, if there's one thing Dragon Ball is known for, it's a bunch of additional forms, which these Pokemon also have. For instance, this is a Gigantamax form of the Pokemon we just saw. If you don't know what Gigantamax is, it's the signature mechanic from Sword and Shield where the Pokemon just get ginormous and a lot more powerful. And how they incorporate that into this Pokemon is super smart because they make it based off the Great Ape form that Goku has when there's a full moon or something. I forget exactly what triggers it, but he became a giant monkey ape thing that destroyed everything, and that's what's reflected in this Pokemon. And that is just such a smart connection. This is so cool instantly. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, this is just such a good idea combining the two ideas. But keeping with the additional forms, this is the Mega Evolution of Seiku, but it's Mega Evolution X. So just like Charizard from X and Y, this Pokemon has two Mega Evolutions. This one is clearly based off Super Saiyan 4, where he gets the red outfit and the long black hair, and this one is fighting Dragon type, which is actually super cool typing, very rare in real Pokemon. I think there's only one Pokemon line with that typing. And this thing just looks super cool. I like how beefy it is up front. Now, the other Mega Evolution for this Pokemon, Mega Seiku Y, is based off Super Saiyan God Goku, so it's got like the silver hair instead, which is really cool, and it's fighting Psychic type, which again is super cool typing, and this Pokemon is awesome overall. I mean, it's got literally 3 additional forms. This is off to a great start. If the first Pokemon was Goku, then of course the second Pokemon has to be Vegeta, a Pokemon based off Vegeta, of course. This one's also a small monkey because the Saiyans are sort of monkeys, but this one, I just love the vibe of this guy. He looks so confident and arrogant like Vegeta, and he's got like this built-in scanner. Like early in Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta always has that power level scanner on his eye, and instead of having a literal scanner, this just has a red circle on its face to be a reference to it. I love that. Its middle stage, Vamunk, is based off regular Vegeta. Again, it's a bit taller, very similar to the Goku middle stage that we saw earlier. And the final stage, Seta, is again based off Super Saiyan Vegeta, and this one, again, has an awesome design. The color palette is amazing, but this one is like mid-Ki Blast, which makes it even cooler. Again, though, pure fighting type, I would think this would be fighting Dark or something because Vegeta's evil, but I guess he's not evil the whole time, so it still makes sense. Just like the Goku Pokemon, this Pokemon has a Gigantamax form based off the Great Ape form that we see the Saiyans turn into, and I guess the only difference here between the Goku one is this one's in a different outfit, but again, it looks amazing. And this is kind of reminding me of Urshifu, a Pokemon from Sword and Shield that has 2 Gigantamax forms based on which different form it's in. Like at the end of that DLC, you battle the Sensei guy, Mustard, whatever his name is, with your Urshifu versus his, and I can just see these 2 Gigantamax Saiyan Pokemon doing the same thing. Again, we have a bunch of additional forms. Get used to it. This is Mega Seta X, so again, it has 2 Mega Evolutions. This one is also fighting Dragon type, and I think this is also based off Super Saiyan 4. It looks like it. I'm 90% sure I'm right on that. But again, super cool color palette, but just enough difference to make it feel different from the Goku Pokemon. This one's more slim. But I am a way bigger fan of Mega Seta Y. This looks absolutely ridiculous. I forget what this is is called. I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, I just had to look it up. This is, I believe, based off the Ultra Ego form that Vegeta goes into, which is like a super powerful form of him. And this one's fighting Dark type, which I said earlier, and that makes complete sense. Okay, here we have the first stage of a Pokemon based off Frieza, which is just so funny because it's got this big dumb head and this creepy looking face. It's Psychic Dark type, which makes a lot of sense. And for this design, they turned Frieza into a snake, which makes a lot of sense because Frieza has that big long tail, which is kind of similar. I see the connection. Speaking of big long tail, this is the evolution, and it's just straight up sat up on its tail while crossing its legs in sort of a meditation pose, but it's also charging up this dark aura on its fingertip right there, which if you've seen Dragon Ball Z, I think Frieza can literally destroy an entire planet with that blast, so this would hit hard in Pokemon. Again, get ready for additional forms. Mega Sleezer, I believe is the name of this Pokemon. Mega Sleezer X. It's Psychic Fighting type, and this one is really bulked up. I believe this is based off the form Frieza goes into when he's fighting Goku for the first time, and he's like about to lose, so he gets ginormous and all bulky, like when Goku lets him power up and he just gets super big or something. However, the other Mega Evolution, Mega Sleezer Y, is based off Golden Frieza, which is its most powerful form that it entered recently in Dragon Ball Super, I believe. It's Psychic Steel type, which makes sense because, you know, gold. And this design is super cool. Again, it's charging up this dark aura on its fingertip, but obviously that one would be much more powerful. Here we have a very interesting Pokemon. This one is based off Cell. It's Dark Bug type. Again, makes a ton of sense, but it's this little scarab creature. You know, all these Pokemon so far, if I'm being honest, would look pretty out of place in real Pokemon, but this one absolutely wouldn't. This just straight up looks like a Pokemon. Its middle stage Cellon looks like a regional variant of Metapod, which is really funny. Who would think the Pokemon based off Cell would look like Metapod, but it definitely does. And it's got that little stinger that Cell's previous form before it entered Perfect Cell had. Like, that's how it absorbed the androids, I believe, through its tail. And its final stage is, of course, based off Perfect Cell. Its name is Cellpion, like champion, I guess, because Cell did that whole tournament, so that's a cool reference in the name there. Again, additional forms. This is the Gigantamax form, and it's based off when Cell like tried to blow itself up by turning into a giant bomb. That is what this is based off of, and it just looks so funny. It's so tubby. Kind of reminds me of Gigantamax Snorlax in a way, like where it's got the whole like earth on its stomach or something. And of course, it also has a Mega Evolution where it's Bug Dragon type. That typing actually doesn't exist in real Pokemon, and this would be an insane way to put it in a Cell-based Pokemon. And this one is of course based off Perfect Cell, especially when it's like copying Goku's Super Saiyan transformation. This is super cool, and it's firing off a Kamehameha, or is Kamehameha? I don't know. I think I pronounced that wrong, but that's what it's doing. Here's a pretty funny Pokemon. This one's based off Buu, Majin Buu, but it's pure fairy type, and it's just a head. It looks kind of like Screamtail, the Jigglypuff Paradox form, but it's just his head. Its middle stage, Boovul, I guess Boo and Evil. It's Fairy Dark type, and now resembles Kid Buu, where obviously he's super evil and kind of has that small build. Its final stage, Ma Giant, I believe is how you pronounce that, because it's giant, but this one is now based off when Buu is in its final transformation and super powerful. This thing looks scary. Look at his eyes. Looks like a Grimmsnarl in a way, and it has the same typing, Fairy Dark type, as Grimmsnarl. Now, this is where this Pokemon gets really, really cool. This is the first Mega Evolution that this Pokemon has, and honestly, it's just kind of basic. It just gets that long thing on its head, and it's Dark Fighting type now, but from here, it gets insane, because it has this Mega Evolution. This is Mega Evolution Y, but it's got 3 different forms based off the Mega Evolutions of the Kanto starters, which is in a reference to the way that Buu can absorb enemies and gain their powers. This Pokemon did that with the Kanto starter Mega Evolution, so this is Charizard's version. It's Fairy Fire type, and again, like, it's got the blue fire that Mega Charizard has. This is the grass version of the Pokemon, and this has the tree that grows on Mega Venusaur's back, so again, an awesome reference. And of course, the last one is Fairy Water type based off Mega Blastoise, and it has this giant cannon on its back, but this is such a cool concept for a Pokemon. Like, we've seen Ditto have the ability to transform into other Pokemon, obviously, but we've never seen a Pokemon that just absorbs, like, the battle capabilities and keeps its regular form. That would be insane. Here we have a Pokemon based on one of my favorite characters from Dragon Ball Z, Broly. It's a little monkey again because it's based off a Saiyan, but I love the color palette of this thing. This dark green and black look really cool. Its middle stage, Ragey, kind of reminds me of Thwackey, the middle stage of the grass type starter from Sword and Shield. It's kind of got that similar build. Now, from here, it actually has a split evolution. This is what the Pokemon would evolve into if it was a male, and again, it's based off Brawly, but it does have another form if it's female. This is it right here, and it's based off Kefla, which is a super cool reference. They sort of built in her outfit into this Pokemon as well with the red dress. So even though they do have a form for Kefla, I don't believe she has any Gigantamax forms or Mega Evolutions. This is just the one for the Pokemon based off Brawly Wrath, which is a cool name. and again, it's based off the Gray Ape. But again, 2 Mega Evolutions. This is so awesome. This one's X, and it's fighting Dragon type again, and this just looks so cool. Brawly never entered Super Saiyan 4, I'm 99% sure, but this looks amazing if he ever did. And its other Mega Evolution, Mega Brawly Wrath Y. This one's fighting Poison type, and I believe it's a reference to Bio Broly, which is from one of the Dragon Ball Z movies, which is a pretty obscure reference at this point, I guess, but it's also really cool. I like how it's got like this toxic sludge on its body. Here's the first stage of a Pokemon based off Piccolo, which again is just so funny to see these first stages. It's also Bug Dark type. We saw that with the Cell Pokemon, but it's again just a funny design here. Bugalo, I guess is its name. Its middle stage, Nakoon, I guess is a reference to a Cocoon and Namekian, which is a cool reference in the name there, but it's just like a bandaged up Piccolo here. And its final stage, Nacreor, is now Bug Psychic type and based off the Piccolo we know and love, especially with this stern face that it's got. Again, it's just, some of these are just so funny because it's weird to see like people put into a Pokemon's body. And this Pokemon, unfortunately, only has 1 Mega Evolution. It's Bug Fighting type and is now this giant golden version with this cool plated armor. This kind of reminds me of Buzzwole, which is also Bug Fighting type, which is probably why, but it's just a big buff bug. It's so funny. Here we have the first stage of a Pokemon based off Gohan. It's Go-Her, and it's this little, I don't know, it's like a dog-like creature, almost like a fox. It's also pure fighting type. A lot of fighting types on these Pokemon, which makes sense, but maybe we could have used a little more variety. This one's actually just a 2-stage evolution line. Its final stage is Sayer, again, based off Super Saiyan Gohan. And I like how this Pokemon looks similar to the Goku Pokemon, but more of an adolescent build with these slimmer appendages and stuff like that, more awkward proportions. It's cool how they did that into the design. Here is the first of the Gohan Pokemon's Mega Evolutions. It's fighting Ghost type and has this ghastly arm on the side of it. That is so cool. I wish we had a Pokemon like this with like half of its body being a ghost and the other half not. That would be absolutely awesome. And its other Mega Evolution is actually fighting Bug type, and this is based off the hero that Gohan pretends to be, like when he dresses up. I think it's Saitama or something like that. I might be thinking of One Punch Man, but I don't know. This design's super cool. I like how they incorporated the thing into its head. It's weird that they made it Bug type, though. I guess just because it's the outfit from the show looks like insect-like, so they made it actually Bug type. And wow, this Pokemon actually has 3 Mega Evolutions. This one's fighting Dark type. It's a Mega Evolution Z, and I guess this is based off Beast Gohan. I think I'm saying that right, but that is so cool. We have 3 different forms of a Mega Evolution on a Pokemon based off Gohan. Like, again, with the additional forms, it's so appropriate for a Dragon Ball Z Pokemon thing, but there's just so many. Here we have the first stage of a Pokemon based off Trunks. Again, pure fighting type. I think this could have been pure psychic type or something to be a reference to the time travel or something, but again, looks super cool. It's almost like a fox as well. Its middle stage Monks is fighting Steel type and now has a little sword that, oh, it's part of its tail. It's like, I wonder if it's got like a copper tail that it's also holding as a sword. That's another design element I've always wanted to see on a Pokemon, like it using its tail as a sword. We have Decidueye who uses its wings as a bow, but this would be cool to see as well. And of course, this Pokemon has a Mega Evolution fighting Dragon type again and based off the Super Saiyan Trunks. It's funny how every Pokemon here based off of Super Saiyan is fighting Dragon type. They kept that very consistent. Now we're getting into some really interesting Pokemon. This one's based off Beerus and it's Psychic Dark type. Again, that typing makes sense. And it's got like a cool Anubis design. It's funny seeing Beerus's face. Like, this is pretty much just 1-for-1 Beerus's face, but just on a much different build. It's just kind of weird to see. This Pokemon's very funny. It's based off Master Roshi. It's normal dragon type. It's literally Master Roshi's like turtle shell thing, but on a turtle face. There's just something funny about seeing Master Roshi as a turtle with the beard built in and the sunglasses. It just looks very funny. But what's even funnier is the Mega Evolution, which I guess is a reference to, you know, when he powers up in the Tournament of Power and just gets super ripped out of nowhere. It's just, if this was a real Pokemon, this would be a very confusing Mega Evolution. If this Pokemon went to this, you would not know what's going on. And of course, we have to end it on the Pokemon based off Shenron. This is so cool. It literally looks like a Rayquaza regional variant or something. It's got 9 Dragon Balls throughout its body and this really cool like alien face where the eyes are on the horns. This is so cool. This would definitely be like the most powerful out of anything we looked at so far. All right, y'all, that was pretty crazy. I never thought I'd see all the Dragon Ball Z characters turn into Pokemon, but it's actually a really cool idea. Let me know if you want to see this with other animes, because ThePanio has done the same thing for Naruto, One Piece, JoJo, really any major anime they've done it for. So if y'all want to see more of that, let me know in the comments. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I'll see y'all in the next one, but until then, peace.